Here is a number that should genuinely embarrass us. 95% of Australian hospitals are still building their rosters in Excel. Not in 1995, right now, today. And I know this because I'm one of those people. I'm a practising anaesthetist, and I've spent the last 15 years building our rostering software HosPortal, which means I've spent the last 15 years sitting across from brilliant, overworked clinicians who are colour-coding spreadsheets at 11 o'clock at night and wondering why their hospital hasn't sorted this out yet. And the answer is mostly nobody's made the case clearly enough. So let me make that case. To be clear, Excel's a powerful tool and sophisticated users can do remarkable things with it. Macros, conditional formatting, hour calculations. And I've seen impressive Excel rostering systems built by people who've clearly spent a lot of time with it. But there's a list of things Excel cannot do as a roster tool, regardless of how good the user is. Firstly, it can't check whether publishing a roster will breach a junior doctor's working hour limit, because it doesn't know what that doctor's been rostered for across other periods, and it doesn't update in real time as the roster changes. Secondly, it can't flag that a shift has no appropriate supervision before the roster goes out, because it has no concept of supervision ratios or what qualifies someone to supervise. Thirdly, it can't cross-reference an approved leave request against a roster and tell you what that approval does to staffing on a specific date. The only thing that it does is hold what you typed in. But the compliance checking, the supervision matching, the leave impact analysis, all of that is happening in someone's head, if it's happening at all. At some point between the spreadsheet and the published roster, someone's standing in a hallway running through a mental checklist that an Excel roster system cannot help them with. Usually, that person is the senior clinician who trained for 20 years to be a clinician and not an Excel rostering expert. And trust me, they're doing an incredibly difficult job with a tool that was never designed for clinics and hospitals. So now let's talk about how this ends up costing the clinic or the hospital or the doctors or the patients. And the first thing is time, especially the time of hospital administrators who are extremely expensive and extremely busy. Picture a consulting anaesthetist with years of experience spending an entire working day every fortnight doing rosters on Excel. And let's be honest here, this isn't something a consultant anaesthetist should be doing. But in my experience, the consultant might be the only person who knows where their staff need to go. They're the only one who fully understands the nuances of their staff's availability. An example of that is Royal Hobart Hospital. Their roster involved 14 shift conflict rules, 9 work rules, 5 user conflict rules, and 44 patterns. And building it took 4 days per cycle. 4 days every cycle by someone who went to medical school like me. We rebuilt that roster in HosPortal and it now takes 4 to 5 hours, a fraction of the time that was previously spent on this. Same hospital, same complexity, same rules, just a better tool. The second cost is compliance exposure. Junior doctor working hours are regulated under the AMA National Code of Practice, and maximum hours per fortnight, mandatory rest windows between shifts, and limits on consecutive weekends. Excel can't enforce any of that. It has no idea. And if someone is sitting at 78 hours when the limit is 76, the spreadsheet will not tell you. The administrator won't know, the junior doctor might not know. And when the roster goes out, the shift gets work, and no one finds out until something goes wrong or until someone goes looking. Look, I'm not trying to alarm you. I'm trying to tell you that this is a foreseeable and preventable problem that purpose-built software solves automatically. Then there's a third cost, one that the finance department never looks at. Junior doctors move between hospitals constantly. They're the most mobile cohort in the Australian healthcare system, and for junior doctors, their well-being is affected by the quality of the rostering system that the hospital uses, whether their preferences are taken into account, whether their weekends are distributed fairly, how easy it is for them to make changes to fit their work-life balance. That experience is hard to quantify, but from my experience, a happy and stress-free doctor is a safe and effective doctor. So what does the alternative actually look like? I'll show you what HosPortal is all about, but first, let me tell you a story. Every time I demonstrate HosPortal to administrators who've been using Excel, there's a moment of realization. Usually when I show them HosPortal's rules engine, where they go quiet. It's a moment of clarity when they realize what can actually be achieved with our software. Imagine if you were that administrator who had to manually check staff rest windows between shifts at 6 in the morning before publishing the roster in case you missed someone's break window. Well, luckily, you wouldn't have to do that with HosPortal. This is the HosPortal rules engine. Every rule that governs your roster lives in here. Shift conflict rules, work hour caps, supervision requirements, leave conflicts, pairing restrictions. You set them once, the system checks them automatically, every time, before anything gets published. If a rule gets broken, you find out before the roster goes out and not after. Here's our AI roster builder. You give it your rules, your patterns, your staff preferences and blockouts, and it tests tens of thousands of possible configurations, scoring each one against your constraints until it finds the best available roster. Now, I want to be clear about what kind of AI this is. It's not ChatGPT, it does not hallucinate. It solves a defined problem with defined rules, and what it returns is not a draft, it's a finished, compliant roster. If you're watching this and your roster still lives in Excel, I'm not here to make you feel bad about it. Most hospitals and clinics are in exactly your position, and you didn't get handed a better option. You inherited a system, it kind of worked, nobody made enough of a point to implement something better. But I want to finish this video off by asking you to ask yourself a question. What is the actual cost of your current situation? Is it all the time spent manually creating rosters? Or all the compliance exposure no one paid attention to? Or better yet, a senior clinician wasting all that experience Tuesday afternoon on a roster spreadsheet? If any of that resonated with you, it's worth having a look at what HosPortal can do for your hospital. Let me invite you to book a free demonstration, no obligations, no commitment. I'd rather show you than tell you. Click on the link below.